Some days you just gotta stay in bed. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the Birds Blast. Not with Kyle Quinn today, as you guys can already tell.
Christmas gift coming right on time, baby. Here we
go. Kyle, who's out of the net, really tried to make this happen, but just couldn't. He's off to traveling somewhere. I don't know what he's doing, but obviously Big Al popping in here today. One of the big things I hear when I talk to the people is that me and you just don't do enough stuff together, Al. So whenever we can get together, it's obviously for a good time. So Al, Merry Christmas. Welcome back to the Birds Blast. You've done this before. Do you want to tell the folks out there were you on the nice list this year?
Yeah, well, I guess my wife doesn't think I watch enough TV, so I got a nice 70-inch TV from her in the Chitlins. And then more barbecuing stuff because the gift that keeps on giving. And listen, I love it, but I always give my wife a joke, be like me buying her a vacuum cleaner, like here you go clean the house, or here I'll go make us dinner. But I love smoking or cooking on the grill or something, so I always get a new gadget to go along with it for it. So that was mainly my Christmas. How about you, Maddie? I'm guessing the naughty list.
No. I'm on the nice list. I got sort of a present through a present. Like my stepson got, my wife went well overboard with the baseball cards in 2025. Probably close to maybe 1,500 baseball cards were given to him. So they were kind of vicariously given to me because I'm the keeper of the collection. So baseball cards, yeah, it was really cool. She's very a very giving person, but yeah, I mean, I don't look at it materialistically. I look at it.
No, I actually would prefer never to get a gift at all. I'm okay. I'd rather give than receive. I've always been like that.
Yeah.
We did a Pollyanna at work, and I'm just like they're like, write down what you want. I'm like, I don't want anything, because when I want something, I just go get it. That's just always the way I've been. When I want something, she's like, my wife, I don't know about you, ever get yelled at. You're not allowed to buy things in December. I'm like, BS on that one. I'll buy
it. No, exactly. And so we did a Secret Santa with our immediate family, and I had one of the older one of my wife's older nephews, and he's a Denver Bronco fan, and he's a Pat Surtain fan. So I went and searched the internet, and I found a mini helmet signed by Pat Surtain. So that was and to see the look on his face when he got it was really kind of really nice. And
see, so I enjoyed that extra step. You just didn't see. For my kids, I don't mind. I ask them what they want and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want them just to say, I want these 5 things and I get these 5 things. Because then what's the point? I might as well just take them to the store and buy those 5 things. So yeah, I agree with you. Finding the things that people want but didn't think about.
Now, Eagles fans out there must have felt that they got maybe an early Christmas present last week. I don't know. We're going to get into this. Eagles. And of course, this is the Birds Blast here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, with your boy Matty B on the call, and joined today by my special co-host, Big Al Zafiri, the host of the newest show here on the network, the Philly Friday Frenzy, that will be seen exclusively on this network and on Fridays at 9 p.m. tonight.
Yep.
Episode, what, 2? 3?
This will be 3.
Episode
special,
3.
Special holiday version. We got I'm gonna be honest, not a ton of Philly sports to talk about outside the Birds the last week. So I have some interesting gift discussions to go over tonight, and I want everybody's input. So I look forward to seeing you all tonight.
So make sure you're there tonight. And I did the final word last night. I feel you. It's really hard to kind of talk sports on coming off of a day where there were no sports on Christmas Eve. And then trying to sort of blend and weave all that in. Yeah, it's a challenge, but we're up to that.
Christmas wasn't much better, to be honest with you.
No, it was not. But we got to backtrack to last Saturday at 5 p.m. The Eagles played the Commanders in Landover, and the Philly Eagles came out of that with a 29-18 win. Al, coming off the heels of a 31-0 win over the Las Vegas Raiders and then beating up on the Commanders, it seems to be a renewed sense in this team's, the Eagles' identity being found. Where do you come out on? Are you pulling much from these 2 games as far as we kind of head into the playoffs? Yeah, we clinched the NFC East 2-time now, the NFC East champs, first time since the 03-04 Eagles have repeated in the end, or anyone's ever repeated in the NFC East. But I want to look at this thing not necessarily from the standpoint of Saturday's Commanders game, but as we move down into the playoff stretch, are you feeling any better about this team and the overall ability?
I have to say they're feeling better in the sense that they don't seem so hapless, because that's what it kind of felt like maybe the weeks before, like kind of shooting themselves in the foot a lot, but how many penalties they were getting in one single game, balls that were being dropped that should have been caught, Jalen Hurts making very un-Jalen Hurts type call, especially in that Chargers game, which we all would love to just forget ever existed. I mean, I kind of looking like that 40,000 foot view right now, not just of the Eagles, but of the NFL right now. I mean, give the Eagles a little credit, I guess, for credit's due. We've known how hard it is to change coordinators as often as we have. Detroit got a firsthand flavor of it, and they're not even in the playoffs this year. The Chiefs coming off the Super Bowl, a Super Bowl loss. That team looked very hapless, very injured, and of course the injury to Patrick Mahomes, but that's not why they lost the season. I'm just kind of looking at the NFL overall. It's a lot of new blood kind of coming in, getting their chances. But I think the Eagles have a very, right now, health-wise, how things are standing, if you start getting Lane Johnson back, if the playoffs start right now, they have as good as a shot making it back to the Super Bowl than any other team in the NFC East or NFC, if not the NFC East, because none of them can make it, except for us at this point. But any team in the NFC to go be seated as the Super Bowl representative.
What a shock, because I feel completely different than you do. Because one, and this is what infuriates me about homers, man. I hate me a homer. I cannot stand homers. Homers represent the Philadelphia Eagle fan base so badly. And this is where I'm going to hit back on you. I don't give a rat's ass what's happening around the NFL. I don't care who's struggling, who's replacing coordinators. This is defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And for you to sit here and tell me that what's happening in the NFL has any bearing on what the Eagles are and what the Eagles' chances are winning a Super Bowl, to me, it's like you're grasping at something to hang on to when you know that there's a problem with the team. And this also, in my opinion, humbly, of course, I don't take much. I'm very reserved in my opinions. I don't, but
oh man, somebody just went from the nice list to the naughty list with that lie.
This team, we are into week 16, or going into week 17, coming out of week 16, and to sit here and to not know what this football team is, the Eagles. I don't care that the Lions are out. I don't care that the Chiefs are out. I don't care that the Jacksonville Jaguars got like 13 wins. I don't care about any of that. But to sit here and look internally at the Eagles and say, after week 16, maybe, they're getting better, but we really can't put our fingers on what this team is in 2025. And we're about out of time in the regular season. It's a huge red flag for me for the Eagles to go out, compete, get back to that Super Bowl and win it, and to, yes, usher in the Eagle dynasty. So I cannot disagree with you more than I am right now.
Well, it doesn't make you less wrong. Let's just throw this out there. I know what you think, and you think it's a homer aspect look, and
it is 100%.
No, hold on. And it's also a way of looking at things like, well, if everybody else is doing bad, but don't tell me that having a weak division, giving a person a chance in the playoffs doesn't help a team make a playoff or make a playoff run, or what's going on around with any other team. There is some to look at. I'm not sitting there saying that the Eagles don't have any problems, and that would be a lie. But let me ask you a question. Do you think the Bills are a really good team? We're playing against them. Do you think the Bills are a damn good team, right?
The Bills are, I think they're a very good team. They're a perennial. They are a team that could be there at the end.
Of being a Super Bowl contender, at least AFC championship game, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the Bills, there's a lot of similarities to them and the Birds, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, Josh Allen is a top-tier quarterback. The Eagles have a very good top-tier quarterback, like it or not, Matty B. A really good defense on both sides.
What did you say about the Eagles having a top-tier quarterback?
They have a top-tier quarterback.
They have a middling quarterback.
No, they have a top-tier quarterback.
No, they don't. He's not top-tier.
Okay, all right. We'll go back.
Are we not calling elite anymore? Now we're tiering this thing. You're putting Jalen Hurts in the top tier. We're not calling him elite.
Who do you think's elite at this point?
Elite quarterback in this league?
right now, 2025, December 26th, who is the elite quarterbacks right now?
I'm going to throw it back at you right now.
Okay.
Because I'm so tired of having to answer this question.
Okay.
If Roger Goodell said, you know what, we're going to clear the landscape. Every single one of these football teams, all your 53-man rosters are now dissolved, and we're going to redraft the entire league based on everybody's 53-man roster. So everyone's going back in a pool, and you can only redraft players that are currently rostered on a football team. And the Eagles get that first pick overall in this new draft. And you're going to build your team around a quarterback. Who are you selecting, Big Al?
It's a great question, but I mean, Jalen Hurts could be up there. He's
the hell out of here.
Listen, Josh Allen, let's talk about this. Josh Allen's a really good quarterback. I think he's a great quarterback, but there is something about the it factor that you guys, these Homer haters, Negadelphians, who do feel that you have to have everything's got to be shiny and nice and 500 yards and 17 touchdowns a game. Absolutely, Star Wars. Thank you for being one of those subscribers. For it to count to anything, for it to mean anything. You've seen plenty of quarterbacks in the NFL over the decades, Matty B, over the decades who have been great, just none like our Phillies. Great regular seasons, but when it gets to the playoffs, the bed has been shat in. And unfortunately, if you look at the NFL currently, right now, we wipe the slate. What quarterback that's not named Patrick Mahomes would you say has the it winning factor to go and win a Super Bowl, who has the gravitas to do so? Because if you tell me it's Josh Allen, you're lying, because he hasn't done jack with it. Maybe Stafford if he was a little younger, but I am not building a new team around Matt Stafford at this point of 72 years old or whatever he is at this point. I mean, and look at it this way. The Indianapolis Colts had to go get a 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. You're telling me there was nobody else stashed somewhere that was younger, maybe could have done the job. I mean, it goes to show you where you're feast or famine. But right now, tell me who you're picking number one overall in that same scenario. That's not Patrick Mahomes. And I'm going to call you a liar because none of these other guys have the it factor as far as we know. Maybe Joe Burrow if he would be able to stay healthy. But that's a big if right now for him. I wouldn't pick him just on the health factor.
I would pick Drake May.
You're telling me in 1 year, you're telling me Drake May is a guy over Jalen Hurts.
So let me attack the it factor here. Okay. I want to attack the it factor, and you're absolutely right. But we balance the two, and you mentioned the other quarterback that has the it factor in Pat Mahomes. So as we look at sort of their ascension through Super Bowl excellence and winning and all that, do you honestly believe, and I'm asking you this honestly, that Jalen Hurts was the X factor in winning the Eagles a Super Bowl last year?
No, I can honestly tell you that he was a major factor, but not the X factor. I mean, that was like a truly a team one. The defense doing an amazing job. The offense keeping the ball in the end zone, making listen, both sides helped each other out. When the defense got the stop, the Eagles got the score. And then it kept happening back and forth. It literally drowned the Chiefs by the second half. They were barely above water at that point. And by the third quarter, the end of the third quarter, they were below. They foot on their throats. And at that point, it was just fun. I mean, yeah. That's a really – listen, I understand when people say that you could have picked anybody on the defense to be MVP of that game. But when you have so many MVP options, you know it's going to be the quarterback who's getting chosen. 6
Pat Mahomes sacks and 3 turnovers in the Super Bowl, I am pretty certain that was a higher level of impact than what Jalen Hurts' performance was. And as far as Jalen Hurts' it factor, give me the list of games – the top 3 list of games that Jalen Hurts has taken this football team onto his shoulders and led them to victory.
This year or generally?
Overall.
I
can give you one in his entire career. And that was the Buffalo game back in 2023 that they won in overtime. That's the only game that I can remember that Jalen Hurts was that it factor.
There's plenty of games where this team had to go down and score with little time left, and it was on his back to do it. You consider and go, well, he had elite wide receivers to throw to, or a line letting the running back gash up the middle. I mean, but he is the guy there who's leading. I'm sorry, I just never understood the Jalen Hurts hate.
It's not hate. Stop with that. It's not hate.
All right, not hate, but all right, fine. Just the have to prove it from everybody for a man in still one of the younger quarterbacks in the league, might I add. I mean, if you talking back to your scenario of who you're building around. I mean, one of the younger quarterbacks in there who's been to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them, has been in the playoffs every season. So a lot of these team players that we've talked about have not been here the entire time, except for one man. I mean, a few other men, like Lane Johnson's been there. Brandon Graham has been there, so don't take that away from them. But who's been at the helm the entire time has been Jalen Hurts, who, in my eyes, has gotten better almost every year. Maybe this year is kind of a down year comparatively, but at the same time, it's not. I mean, if you look at his stats, it's they're up there with the top quarterbacks in the league. Now, he hasn't had that 5 touchdown game, or that he rushed for 200 yards on his own game. He's not going to have that. That isn't Jalen Hurts' game. It really isn't. And that's the problem. Like, the grass is greener. We always want that shinier toy, but look at it. Look at these guys. Like, take Lamar Jackson. Talk about a flop, right? I'm sorry. I've been calling this for a long time. He's like a better version of Cam Newton in my eyes. He's athletic as all hell. He can play really well, but he can't win. He doesn't, and I don't want to hear it like, oh, well, they have Patrick Mahomes to go through every year. Well, so did the Eagles to do it to win the Super Bowl. And did they go through him? They tore through him like wet paper. And yes, did getting all those sacks and pressures on him in the Super Bowl help him? But again, if it was more like what we've seen maybe over the last half of this year, where the Eagles defense is doing a yeoman's job, but the offense really wasn't, and it was keeping games closer than they should be, but keeping them winning. If that was the way the Super Bowl went, I could agree with people more. But how anything is. How when you lead a game, I don't care if you're coaching or playing, when your offense is clicking, your defense can be looser and play and make big plays. And if you don't make them, it's not as harsh on you, and you don't kind of beat yourself up. Same thing with the offense. If you're not if the defense isn't making the stops, you're not going to throw a bomb down the middle to Devontae Smith to kind of seal the goddamn deal in the Super Bowl. So you have to take all of it. It is 11 men on the field at one point, or 22 men altogether who make that happen. So to sit here and take Jalen Hurts out of the equation and say he doesn't help that win, could you have plugged in another quarterback in a game like that and maybe put Josh Allen in there or Joe Burrow or any of these other guys and still came out about the same? Maybe. But Jalen Hurts has the it factor that allows that swagger to happen. It's something you can't find. I mean, as a guy who coaches young kids, there's times I look at kids. This kid's got all the talent in the world. This kid has the ability. He's a mental wreck. He's just immature, or maybe mommy and daddy are yelling at him too much, or whatever the reason I have to deal with. It's not billionaire problems. But the same idea is, if mentally they're not there, we can do all you want, but they have to mentally be able to do it.
No, and I agree. And listen, I go along the lines of the Jalen Hurts hate thing. Yeah, I'm speaking from this side. Personally, I don't hate Jalen Hurts. I think he's a good quarterback, 100%. Could there be a lot worse quarterbacks that's behind center right now? Hell yeah, I've seen some of them firsthand. Could there be some better quarterbacks that are behind center? 100%. It's not the fact that Jalen Hurts does not do well when he's back there. I'm not questioning that. He's a starter at this league, at this level. But what I do question is this over-the-top gushing about his ability as a quarterback from the homers. He's not something generational. He's not elite. He's very good, and it's been very good for the Eagles. And it's okay not to have an elite quarterback and still win. Trent Dilfer proved that as well throughout his career. Nick friggin' Foles has proven that. So it's okay.
It's one thing to win one and not have to be elite, but it's one thing to keep going back and being in the
He's only won one. Okay, he lost a shootout to Pat Mahomes in the first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We forget that. And then this other thing, this Super Bowl trophy MVP or the Super Bowl MVP moniker that people give him. When the hell did the Super Bowl MVP become better than winning the NFL MVP? Why do we have to regurgitate that he won the popularity contest in Super Bowl 59?
Listen, let's be honest. If you win the MVP of the league that year, 9 times out of 10 it is a goddamn quarterback who just put up the most shining stats. Let's just throw it out there.
No, absolutely.
In this case, the Super Bowl is just in one game. It's the same thing, but in a smaller capsulized area. That's all the difference is from Super Bowl MVP to. I think they're both crocs. You know what I mean? Like if in my eyes, if say it's a close game, like a Super Bowl, it's a really close game, and a wide receiver makes some juke move where he should have been down, game over, got past the defender and scored the game-winning touchdown, or a running back does it, or a pick six that puts a team over the top. That guy should be the MVP of the game no matter what, because if it wasn't for him, that game's not won.
Yeah.
But when a game happens the way it did, when was the last time you watched just a throttling of a team in the Super Bowl and against where a guy who you would think would do the throw, in all honesty, if a magic genie came out to you before the Super Bowl last year and said, I'm not telling you who wins, but one team will just utterly dominate the other team offensively as well as defensively, what do you say they're going in the back of your head? Oh,
it's going to be the Chiefs. Yeah.
You're like, God, we're screwed. I'm not even watching. I'm not even getting up for this one. You know what I mean? That's what you're thinking. So that did you only just dominate in a Super Bowl against a team that's been there more than you have at this point, the only team, might I add, and against a guy who you would put the word generational talent on, would you not? On him?
On Jalen?
No, on Patrick Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes is probably going to finish in the top 3 all time as the best quarterbacks in this league.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to argue those facts. Point being is, when was the last time you saw anything in that way against any team? Yeah. I mean, that doesn't happen. I rarely have ever had a Eagles game in my life that was what I call, outside maybe the Raiders game recently, but I mean, on my hand, I could probably count 1 or 2 total where I had stress-free football watching the game happen. And one of them is a Super Bowl, Matty B.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
First half, it was historical. I agree. But from now on, though, Al, my point with this whole Super Bowl MVP thing is from now on, whenever you address Nick Foles, I want you to put the Super Bowl MVP in front of his name, too.
Don't we all?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Well, we don't even remember Nick Foles' contributions, even though the man's got a statue out front of Lincoln Financial Field.
I do.
So,
I mean, the Philly is Nick Foles. I mean,
that's right.
He called it. They ran it to perfection. He caught the touchdown. I mean, if you don't remember Nick Foles, that's my thing is it only took 2 good games for Nick Foles to get a statue out front.
Nick Foles' career is somewhat of an anomaly. I wonder if all he needed was someone to say, you're the starter, and for good or for bad. And we'll get I wonder how further his career could have gone here in Philly than it actually did.
Maybe if Carson wasn't there, or if Carson,
I'm thinking Andy Reid days with Mike Vick, those early days. If someone would have just handed the reins over to him and said, you know what, you're it. I wonder how it would have went.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, Nick Foles had we'll call it career farts, not brain farts.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he left here. He couldn't fly. Was it St. Louis? He couldn't fly in.
Couldn't fly in Jacksonville. Couldn't fly anywhere.
No, well, he left here. Went to with the Rams.
Yep, was done there after his first year. Was done. Then he went to Kansas City and backed up there, and then he came here and backed up, and then down to Jacksonville, and totally was terrible. But
it's just like what makes the Nick Foles argument so hard is that he is a puzzle piece that just fits into the Philadelphia Eagles puzzle.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. Like, he had a really career. I mean, with that Raiders game where he had 7 touchdowns or whatever.
7 touchdowns.
His shoes or with a ball or whatever in the Hall of Fame now.
So there's Nick Foles. There's Nick Foles' career numbers as an Eagle up there. That's his numbers up there.
Okay.
And I balanced this stat. This was at the end of last year. So these numbers for Jalen Hurts have changed, but this was where they were together as quarterbacks at the end of last season.
Yeah.
So it's always a wonder with me about how far Nick would have went.
Again, it's funny how stats can be misleading. They were showing a stat. I think, what was it? Was it the Raiders game? Yeah, it was. Who was the No, it wasn't the Raiders game. It was the Washington game. It was Mariota. They were putting Mariota's career stats next to, of course, not the Super Bowl stats or playoff stats, but they were putting their career stats next to each other, and they were very close. Now, Mariota's also been in the league a lot longer than but I'm just saying that's how stats can be misleading in some ways.
Yeah. No, listen, and we're way out. We're spinning way off the gravitational pull of the Birds Fly By pregame show. So we got to pull ourselves in. But the bottom line is, again, I don't hate Jalen Hurts. I don't have personal feelings towards him, so I can't hate him. I don't know the man. I'm not saying he's a terrible quarterback, but I am not ever going to say he's elite.
One more question then. Would there be 5 other quarterbacks you would take over the top of him?
Yes.
Okay, so I know Patrick Mahomes. You just said Drake May.
Mahomes May. I would take Josh Allen. I would take Joe Burrow. And I would take Trevor Lawrence and Bo Nix.
What?
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, maybe Bo Nix, maybe. He's just still him and Drake May. It's like one of those things. Like people like Jaden Daniel last year. Just, Jaden Daniel. I mean, I know he got injured, but listen, people got video on him and he got sophomore slumped.
I would love to see any one of those quarterbacks with the offensive weapons that we have.
I agree.
That's what I would love to see.
I agree. But again, I've also seen teams heavy offensive weapons who have the bed big time.
Yeah. No, I'm not sitting here telling you that you're wrong,
there's
but
plenty of Cowboys fans out there who think Dak Prescott's the second coming of Jesus still, and he's a very good quarterback, don't get me wrong, but there's that it factor with him again. But they've had some high-end wide receiver, running back, and O-line combinations that they still haven't. The Bills, maybe the last couple of years, had some great offensive weapons and a good O-line, and they still couldn't do anything with it. So, I mean, the Rams have had some offensive killers out there and have the bed. So, again, I know we put a lot of saying on, if you have these weapons, Matty B could go out and throw the ball for the Eagles. Wrong.
No, I disagree.
On the Matty B thing?
No, I disagree with that whole philosophy. You're downplaying what the other part of this team brings to this team. Why were the Eagles so successful in 2024 after the first 4 games when they were 2-2? Why did all of a sudden they run rampant after that? Because they decided to run the football. They took the pressure away from the quarterback and opened up the other area, which then opened up the passing game even more for Jalen Hurts. Don't say that's not true.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think you're also looking.
They use the other weapons more prevalently than they did prior to that. So it's an example of it did getting better because of. Listen, the Eagles are limited because of Jalen Hurts' skill set. Whatever that skill set limitation is it his ability to read defenses, his ability to actually get the ball out fast? They're limited. And you can say that about a lot of other quarterbacks in this league. Again, I'm not bagging on him by saying this is something special indicative to Jalen Hurts. It's not. It's a quarterback trait. But there is a limitation to what Eagles offensively can do with Jalen Hurts. And sit here and try to wish that away or make sense out of that or try to downplay that all you want, but that's the truth, Al.
Yeah, but what other quarterback isn't better when the ball's being ran super effectively? Especially
I agree, 100%.
Yards.
No, you're right.
There had to be a philosophy change. This team came in with one philosophy change. Again, you had a new coordinator moving things along, and they had to make changes to make it right. I mean, it happens every year almost. I feel like they struggle in the beginning. They did that this year, and they still are at this point. 10-5? Every chance probably to be 11-6 in my eyes at this point, unless they, lose this game and then lose. They don't care about the next game because it means nothing to them, and they just sent out all their secondary third string players.
Well, let's get into these games. God damn, 30 minutes on this silliness of Jalen Hurts. But actually, it's a huge storyline of the season.
Give the people what they want.
Well, no, because I come out, and obviously I come off on the other side of the jail. I'm part of the Negadelphia. I guess I'm like sort of their honorary mayor. But to answer your question, if I had that number 1 overall draft pick and all those quarterbacks, to choose from, pre-ACL Pat Mahomes, and you can't take Pat Mahomes off the list because he is part of the league. It'd be Pat Mahomes hands down.
That's why I couldn't say he would be. I wouldn't pick Jalen Hurts number 1 overall.
Okay, that's my point.
It would be a tough decision, but to sit there and say he's like not top.
Okay, so if you were picking second, would you pick Jalen Hurts? No, you wouldn't, and that's okay to admit that. I don't even know if Jalen Hurts gets taken in the first round.
I'm just trying to think. To be honest,
you would not. You would not do it, and you wouldn't.
Listen. I'm a huge Josh Allen fan, but I do worry that he's just a hump guy. He can't get over it. He's a certain guy who I feel is going to be one of those guys will never get a Super Bowl because he can't get over the hump. Like what you fear about, and I fear about Bryce Harper being, is that elite superstar who can do really well, but just may never get that ring that they were hoping to get, that championship that they were hoping to get. Because I'm looking right now. I'm just looking at the teams right now who are currently in the playoffs, at least the playoff talk, because you can actually put the Panthers, Steelers, and Texans in that. But I mean, I can't say I want Bo Nix over him. I can't say I want Drake May over him because there's too early to make a decision on them right now. Trevor Lawrence, you're insane.
Okay.
Josh Allen, like he'd probably be maybe the second guy if I'm not picking Jalen Hurts. Matt Stafford's too old. Jordan Love, I think, is extraordinarily overrated.
Don't forget Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert, another one, extraordinarily overrated.
You beat the Eagles with one hand.
Yeah, well, no, the Eagles allowed him to get. I'm sorry, that was the Eagles' loss. Sam Darnold, I mean, and what's the guy from Chicago? What's his name?
Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams. I think he's not that. I think he's good. I think he's going to be a lot.
Okay,
again.
Sit here and tell me you're going to take Jalen Hurts number 2 overall in the Matty B redrafted of the NFL. All 53 players, every player on every roster.
Right now, yes. Yeah. Top 3 easily. I'm sorry. Maybe I'd pick Josh Allen over him, just maybe.
No. I want you to sit here and tell me it's Jalen friggin' Hurts I'm taking. Moving on.
It hurts. There it is. Excited. Taking it to the bank.
Man, this is what homers are, man. You can't have a conversation with a homer. All right, let's get back to the game because we got
conversation brings you.
I got to get through the Commanders into the Bills. So listen, 29-18.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not 29-18. It's 29-11, but keep going.
Okay. First half was a little bit of a different type of football game. Eagles walked out of there with a 10-7 lead, starting with the very first play of the game, the Kobe fumble on the kickoff. And then you kind of opened up the door for the Commanders. But for the Eagles' standpoint, the defense once again rose to the top, limiting that opportunity to a field goal and then pretty much shutting down. Well, I mean, they moved the football pretty effectively against the Eagles defense, but they made plays when they had to make plays. The Eagles then also did not make plays when they should have made plays, which brought back some memories and thoughts of pre-Raider game Eagles. And they go into halftime with a 10-7 lead. They come out, no Mariota, Josh Johnson. Good night, man. They must just pull somebody out the damn stands to play quarterback. And then that was the game from there.
The Niners and almost ended his career.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the last time I ever saw him play was the NFC Championship game against the Eagles when he was absolutely terrible.
Quarterbacks in the process.
And they benched him to bring back the injured Purdy. That's how bad he was.
Mm-hmm.
Purdy came back in that game all banged up. Oh, man. Anyway, so I know you're going to pull and I know you're going to take the other side of the coin. You're going to be like, well, they did what they had to do, and they're continuing to gain some momentum. But overall, give me your summary of that game.
Like you kind of said, there a lot of look at what we had going into this, like the second half of the season. You know, a slow start, making the same mistakes. A lot of mistakes being made, but offensively just cold, not getting where they need to be. The second half, they made adjustments. What are they? This is where my argument. This is where my problem comes in with the Eagles, and it's not Jalen Hurts. It's maybe more coaching in some ways. Things work and you get away from it. They finally went to a spread offense, which opened up the lanes for Jalen Hurts to allow him to run, which worked significantly for them. Am I wrong?
No. Well, Saquon also had a big day.
The
run game in general had a great second half. Absolutely.
Yeah, Saquon and Bigsby finally gets his touchdown as a Philadelphia Eagle. All that stuff. So what did they do? They went to things that work and they stuck with it. I'm hoping that, you know, the Eagles coaching and play calling can learn from their mistakes there, because that's what Shane Steichen did. That's what and yeah, me too, Matt.
Yeah, and then Matty B, you know.
Yeah, Matt. What's going on, Rob? He's a good dude. I love Rob. My point is the team made adjustments, and then it just started working, and then it was kind of foot on the throat. Yeah, I told you that last touchdown that the Commanders got was the defense was playing that prevent defense I hate so much, and they kind of let them score because they weren't worried. They were more worried about burning time than them scoring because they were up so much on them at that point. So the defense definitely did their job. Offense came out a little slow, but goddamn, the second half was a whole lot better. The penalty thing was a big difference. That was a big. What did I think they had 3 penalties that whole game?
5 for 61.
Okay, 5.
That was terrible. It was there were limited penalties, but they were the big ticket item penalties, the personal foul stuff, the 15-yarders. You know
where does it come back to? And you know this burns me to say this, but the offensive line is where those big ticket ones came back. This could have been at least a 2 other touchdown game for the Eagles.
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot to be said, but I will say it's a building block, but it doesn't make me sit there and go, all right, I'm putting all my money on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl either. Like, I'm not. Listen, you call me a homer all you want, but I'm not insane. You know,
Homer.
I see for what it is. I see that there is still problems to be had. But let me ask you this question, because I know this is something I said. If the Eagles come out this Sunday and just wallop the Bills, you know, limit Josh Allen to like 2 touchdowns, topped, and
assert themselves offensively, play a complete game.
Are you going Super Bowl bound Eagles?
No, I'm not. But what I am going is, you know what? That's the game. Finally, after 16 weeks that you can sit, or 17 weeks at this point, that you can honestly say the Eagles have arrived better late than never at the perfect time.
Get hot now
as we get into the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that momentum's going to go off the rails against the Commanders, because I will be starting that game for the Eagles against the Commanders in Week 18. So that's another interesting. And we're going to get to the aspect of the schedule here a little bit later on in the show.
Are you worried about the win this week as much from a health standpoint? Is it more important to come out healthier than come out winning in this case?
I think it's more importantly right now. So this is, you're stealing the thunder, but I will get into this now. That's fine. But even though this is my show. Yeah,
I know.
Okay. All right. I know a lot of people are looking at this game, as you mentioned.
By the way, I'm just telling you that it does say the
what?
Birds with Big Al. So.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Just a reminder that says it right there. Didn't say about Matty B. I'm just saying. But keep going.
With Big Al. All right. I know a lot of people are looking at this game as an opportunity, a watermark game for the Eagles. You know, that arrival game, and I understand why, and I totally see that point. But here's the thing, you know, I think we're masking that, trying to make ourselves feel better about this football team in the hopes of trying to get a higher seed. I don't really care. 3 is probably where they're going to finish, and that's fine by me. I'm not really interested in, if we could get 1, but we can't get 1, so the hell with it. 3 it is, because it's the bye week that I'm looking for as far as the playoffs go. It is what it is. You're going to have to do what you got to do. But as far as the overall, like going out and smacking the Bills in the mouth and doing what we said, a complete game, it's going to make people feel better that the team has maybe arrived. But I don't think that arrival is – I think this is who the Eagles are offensively. I don't think there's anything better coming. This is what the team is. For like it or lump it, this is what they are. Can they win a Super Bowl like this? Absolutely. But I don't think they're getting better. I don't think there's another level that this offense is going to go. I think this is it. For whatever this is the offense. Can you win this way? Yes. Can you lose this way? Yes. Are you going to overpower anybody? I don't think so. I don't think this Eagle offense is that way this year.
You mean like offensively gash somebody? That's not.
No, I just don't think it's happening.
No, I don't disagree with you, and I think there was some disconnects and some guys not playing up to the snuff and
whatever, health, penalties, discipline. There's Kevin Matula. You can factor all this stuff in. This is what the Eagles are in 2025, and what they do against the Bills, for good or for bad, is really mute to me heading into the playoffs. So with that being said, I'd rather just have them rest their players and be ready for when it really matters in the wild card.
I know, and I'm so torn when I talk about this. I'm a guy like, I'm not worried about certain guys with because somebody said like, do you play? What are the two biggest injured guys right now? It's Jalen Carter and Lane Johnson.
No, absolutely not. No,
and well, right now they're leaning towards playing, and I don't understand that.
No, I don't understand it either.
You can't go 6 weeks without playing. I'm like, yes, Lane Johnson can. Maybe Jalen Carter, I'd be a little nervous about, but yes.
Yeah, Lane Johnson can go 6 weeks without playing. He's a future Hall of Famer. He knows what he's doing.
Lane Johnson go 18 games and
yeah,
to the playoffs, and
exactly.
I still feel okay with it.
Come on, man.
So the whole rust thing is, in my eyes, I mean, listen, for a quarterback, I'm a little worried about it more if a quarterback's out that long because the feel, the speed of the game, that kind of stuff gets away from you a little bit, and you have to kind of get your toe dipped into the water. But ultimately, no, it's this. In my eyes, it's health. And I wonder. I mean, you just can't game plan for not caring about winning. Like you can't go out super vanilla. You can't because from a demoralizing standpoint, this team wants to win. They hear what you say. They hear what I say. They hear what everybody says.
What do you got to say like that? Like I'm leading that parade or something, man.
Yeah, you are the grand marshal of that parade, my friend. Let's just be honest.
No, my spot's right behind Spike Eskin.
Oh wow, yeah, you're right. Oh man, I'm not going to touch on that one. What a joke! But we'll keep going. My point being is, it's really hard to game plan that way. So I think the Eagles, and I think outside of starting Lane Johnson, Jalen Carter just need to go out and play the game. Just go out and play the game. You can't go out and play not to get hurt because that's when you get hurt. Let's be honest. You can't go out there and play vanilla because it's demoralizing to the team, which could be more hurtful than an actual physical injury.
Yeah. Well, I disagree. So now you mentioned the major adjustments that the Eagles made in terms of gashing open the Commanders in the second half. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say they didn't. There were some major adjustments made, but not by the Eagles. Those major adjustments were made by the Commanders in what I like to call the Cam Scatterboo effect. And what I'm going to explain what that is, I think I might have explained it to you before. But when you're a team that's 4-10 entering into this action, and you come out of that first half only down by 3 points against the defending Super Bowl champions, you're feeling good about yourself. But the one player that's been holding it all together is now out. Guess what? We're done. I'm sorry. We're 4-10. This was a great half, but you know what? It's cold out. It's Christmas time. I want to go home, hang out with my family. We're 4-10. Warm up the buses. Josh Johnson's going to come in. Who cares? I want to go home. So those were, in my opinion, the major adjustments made in that football game. We were by the Commanders, not by the Eagles, and that's where the Eagles sort of benefited from. So until proven otherwise, that's what I'm going with.
Play against Josh Johnson? Did he play linebacker?
No, I just said you mentioned demoralizing. I think the entire team was just done after that. Like, yeah, okay, whatever.
I agree to a point, but also, a guy might still want to get a sack, might want to go get an interception to kind of help themselves out because demoralizing. Yes, your season's over, but there's guys who are playing for their lives here, kind of like a fourth or a third preseason game. Now it used to be fourth, but now third preseason game. You're playing for a job. Okay. So I agree to a point that you might be demoralized. Maybe guys who've been around, maybe the older vets, or maybe guys who know their job is secure going in next year. But there's plenty of guys who are either looking for their next job somewhere else. So people can look through the mess of what the Commander season was and go, you know what, here's a diamond in the rough. I'll take him and sign him to a couple year extension over here or whatever. But the offense where they made changes was the play. You saw more under center, which needs to be done. You saw more Jalen schemed runs, not just, I happened to take off and it was there. And that spread offense was something that I was wondering why they never ran before. Because, Saquon can catch the ball out as a wide receiver as much as he can run the ball half the time. So that just opens up. You saw a lot more pulling, by the way. The offensive line has not pulled that much at all. Again, against a really beat-up defensive line of the Commanders. I take this all in a small consideration, but it's still there. And that's where I saw the adjustments made. Because that could have just ended 10-7, Matt. Like, there didn't have to be, 5 more touchdowns if they didn't want it to be. And like I said, there was parts that were taken away. There should have been at least I would say bare minimum 6 to 7, or 2 missed field goals. Let's forget about that with Missy Elliott, which we got to talk about that at one point. And
was
then
it 3? Didn't he miss 3 for the game?
Well, technically it's 2 because he had a second chance in the second one. But yes, he missed 3 total. I felt bad. I was in a pool and I got my mom in there. She won $50. She should have won 100, but that second miss by Jake Elliott burned her a little bit. But there's just 6 points right there, and I think with a couple of the bad callbacks because of the O-line's mistake before a big play, that's another 13 points that were taken away from them total.
Does it always have to be half full with you? Does it always have to be?
I can read the game. I'm like, there's multi-facets to the game.
Okay, man. But a penalty is not like a fluky play.
You're a 10-5 team who's had some issues and mistakes and injuries that should have slowed them down more, but it didn't.
Yeah, but no, I get you, but you're talking about a penalty being a fluky play. The Eagles have been penalized 105 times for 814 yards this season. That's not a fluke, man. That's part of their game plan.
If you said I said fluke, no. I 100% understand. There was a lot of miscues on the offensive line, and one of the big things in the beginning of the game, and I think I tweeted this out. I might have talked about it too in the other show, but one of the big things is the offensive line was outright complaining that I don't know if it was Kevin Petullo waiting to get the call in, or it was Jalen Hurts taking too long to get the call in.
It's been bad this year. In general, it's been bad all year. Like they're getting the ball off at 0 most of the damn time.
But that was the one bigger adjustment I saw, because there was not one time I could think of in the first half that the Eagles got the ball off before the 8-second marker, before the 8-second marker. Yeah. Most of the time it was way before that. Second half, they're on the line ready to snap the ball at the 20-second marker. And guess what? No penalties really occurred at that point because they could diagnose what's in front of them. They saw where the defense was lining up. They were allowed to make the little pre-snap defensive movements to get a feel of who may or may not be blitzing. That is a big difference. And again, that's scheming. That's either Kevin Petullo or Jalen Hurts waiting too long to get the ball, the play in. I have to wonder it's more Kevin Petullo.
It might be Kevin Petullo. We'll see. But on this game, Jalen Hurts was 22 for 30 with 2 touchdowns, 185 yards. His counterpart, Marcus Mariota, was 7 for 14 for 95 yards. So they don't even have Johnson's numbers up here as a part of a highlight because he was terrible. Saquon Barkley did have possibly his best game of the season. 21 carries for 132 yards and a touchdown. To go along with Bigsby's night, it was all around the best rushing attack the Eagles have had all year. Again, week friggin' 16. A.J. Brown finishes with what's up?
Do you think that they will finally kind of not just push Saquon, but they will do maybe this 2-headed, 3-headed monster thing a little bit? Maybe put.
We'll see.
More emphasis on that. I think if they learned anything from this game, that'd be the first thing I learned. But that's just.
Change of pace. Kenny Gainwell action. Yeah, where was that all? That's not been existed all season. We'll see. We'll see how these games dictate. But again, we're talking week friggin' 16, and they're just figuring things out, which is amazing to me. But the Birds Blast stat pack for this football game, the Eagles were 3 for 3 in the red zone, which was very good to see. They got in the red zone, and they capitalized. Now they are 28 for 39 on the season for about 71% effective. The red zone's been a sort of an enigma all year because they just haven't been there that much.
Really good.
Yeah.
The second half it came out really bad up until, I guess, the last couple games.
Yeah, it's been an enigma. Eagles scored 7 first half points. They have now scored 191 first half points for 12.7 a game. They came out and actually flipped the script, and they scored a lot in the second half this week, 22 points, to get them back into double digits of average points scored in second halves. They're now averaging 10.6 points per second half. They've also scored 160 total points in the second half. You're asking me what the problem with the Eagles have been. It's been that second half through first half points distribution issue. They just don't score points in the second half. They haven't done it all year, but they're back in the double digits per average.
And they're going up against a team is the complete opposite right now. The best second half team is the Buffalo Bills. So this will be interesting.
It will be very interesting. They did only force 1 turnover. Again, another stat that is, as we're looking at Super Bowl run versus last year to this year, the Eagles have only forced 1 turnover. They have now 18 on the year. They were at like 27-28 at this point last season as they went on that was big time part of really what got them down, and of course what got them to the Super Bowl and that win. But the turnovers just haven't been coming the way they were coming in 2024. And I think a lot of people downplay the effect of the turnovers in games. Don't forget the Commanders game in the championship game, they committed 5 turnovers. All right, the Rams game, 3 turnovers. The Packers game, 3 turnovers. These are huge factors in winning football games, especially in the playoffs. And the fact that they've only had 18 up to this point, and it was such a big part of their game last year, is a little concerning on the defensive side, Al.
No, you're right. And I mean, kind of reminds me of the 2022 Eagles a little bit. I mean, they had more pressures and turnovers, and we thought that defense to be elite, which kind of shaded the secondary a little bit. How bad they really were, I guess, because the front line was doing so much pressure. Now it's kind of, I feel like, the other way around between the injury of Jalen Carter. Jordan Davis is overall this season has been really good. He's just had some clunker games. But they have some other guys who have stepped up. I agree with you that it's really important. I think you're also looking at 2 teams that they played against, especially the last 2, who are going to protect the ball, but also cost them in other ways. So there is a plus minus to that. So I think you have to look at that a little bit there.
The Eagles did force 1 turnover, or they committed 1 turnover themselves. 14 now on the year the Eagles have committed. That's less than 1 a game. I'll take that any day of the week.
Even with the 5 turnovers.
Yeah, absolutely. Jalen was sacked twice in this game for 7 yards. 31 times Jalen Hurts has been sacked in 2025. Yeah. That is like way up from last year.
I'm telling you, the biggest difference this year that really tell me right now if you wouldn't feel that this team would be so much better than they are right now. A 10-5 team, if our offensive line was at full strength and injuries weren't a problem.
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and downplay that. Yeah, the offensive line has, maybe when you list the epitaph of the 2025 season, the offensive line is top 3 of what went wrong. If things go wrong, the offensive line is going to be one of the top 3, 100%. Sure. They got to Mariota/Johnson twice for 8 yards. The Eagles defense has committed or forced 37 sacks on the season. 0 for 0, 4th down efficiency. Another week of not going for it on 4th down. For 11 for 18 now on the year for 61% on 4th downs. All in tune to a 29-18 win over the Commanders. And yes, the elusive back-to-back NFC East championship now. First time that any team has ever gone back-to-back in the NFC East since the 03-04 Eagles have done it. And that remains to me one of the biggest mysteries in all of football, is that why it was so long.
It's a weird, not I want to say stat, but like a weird like people are like, oh, what an honorable thing. I'm like, really? Like,
no, it's weird, man.
Weird. Like, oh, they broke it after 21 years, and I'm like, that's still weird. It's not like something I'd be like, here, give me a little plaque I would love to put up on my wall about it. Like, yeah. It's like, thank God we finally freaking did it. It's more like it.
And that's an ode to inconsistency, if you ask me. I, of course, in this game I chose the Commanders to win this game. Kyle went with the Eagles. Yeah, of course I did. Yeah, of course I did. And then I'm going with the Bills this week too. So.
Right here. I don't blame you picking the Bills this week. I really don't. And
I'm going with the Commanders in week 18.
Well, again, I don't blame that either, because it's going to be, I don't even know if Tanner McKee starts this game at this point.
That's me. I'm starting. My first career NFL start. I've already signed the contract, man.
I'm okay to see that. I want to see you play a game, play so bad, then come on the air and then complain about you and how much of a jackass you are. That's what I want to see. No,
what happens if I throw 300 yards and 4 touchdowns and run for another $120?
Well, then, God, you're. Why are you sitting there, sir? Why are you sitting there? Philip Rivers be damned. We got the newest oldest guy in the NFL, Matty B.
Actually, Philip Rivers would look good compared. I mean, I would look. If we stand side by side, me and Philip Rivers, he's still looking like a superior athlete compared to me with his dad body. So, I went with the Commanders. Kyle went with the Eagles. Obviously, I was wrong. Kyle was right.
Commanders were so bad, though. Really, did you really pick the Commanders?
It's more of contextually why I went with the Commanders. After the Chargers game, I made a statement that I'm going to hold true to. That one, the schedule down the stretch for the Eagles with the Raiders, Commanders, Bills, Commanders is going to be extremely misleading about the way this season ends for the Eagles. And number two, I just don't feel that the Eagles are a good team anymore, and I'm not going to pick. I'm not going to pick them the rest of the way. So it's more of a
last year they won a Super Bowl, so it's okay.
No, I didn't. Well, yeah, I guess so. But
yeah, we'll go to the tape, sir. We'll go to the tape.
I am 5-10 now on the season, picking them. Kyle's now 8-7, so that's the end of the Commanders. All right, Al, I'm gonna say Kyle. By the way, for those of you wanting to see Kyle Quinn, this is not Kyle. This, of course, is Big Al Zafiri stepping in for Kyle today, who had to travel here on the Birds Blast as we're 40 or almost an hour in, and we just got through the first game, but we went on about a 30-minute rant about Jalen Hurts. So let's turn the page.
People are loving it.
Yeah, they are. Let's turn the page. Let's go to Sunday, 4:30, 4:25, whatever, up there at Orchard Park. Not the last home game of the regular season for the Buffalo Bills. I was wrong about that. They actually play the Jets next week at home to finish out the regular season. And it's probably why I forgot about that, because it's the friggin' Jets. I mean, do you really care what the Jets are doing? But anyway, the Eagles are going to go up there.
Meaningful home game, because the Bills are playing. Yeah. Well, the Bills are playing a whole lot more than the Eagles in this case.
And it's going to be electric up there no matter what. It's actually probably a really good environment to be in. If you're up in the Western New York area, go check that thing out. But on Sunday, it's going to be kind of wet. It's going to be wet in Western New York all weekend. They got snow forecasted for today, and then they got rain. It's going to warm up on Sunday, a high of 41 with a low of 38. But it could be like a sleet, snow mix type rain thing. So it could be a sloppy day up in Buffalo. The Bills are going to go with their red tops and their white bottoms. The Eagles are going with black pants. Al, they're going with the white tops and black pants for this tilt up there in Western New York. Let's look at the injury report. We sort of glanced over it, but let's just sort of recap. This was as of Christmas Eve. I do not have today's injury report yet, but Lane Johnson was a non-participant. A.J. Brown, non-participant because of the teeth. Nakobe Dean, after he left the game against the Commanders, was a non-participant. Landon Dickerson was not a non-participant, but yes, Jalen Carter was a full participant, and everybody else that's dinged up was full. Let's circle back to that Eagle injury report, Al, before I get into the Bills. You mentioned with the overarching, this is pretty much where they're going to potentially finish in the playoff race at 3. Should you take an air of caution with all these players, with maybe the exception of A.J. Brown and his wisdom teeth thing? But Lane Johnson doesn't need to be playing in this football game.
No, Lane Johnson, Jalen Carter, the two that I really don't want. Nakobe Dean, when Nakobe Dean plays, he is really good. Like,
that man plays.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest if, though. I mean, when he could be such a much better player if he could be on the field. Landon Dickerson's is an illness, so he's probably playing unless he's just a really bad flu or something. I don't know, but they can get these guys IV'd up and healthy again.
But he's dealing with he's been dinged up all year with that knee problem.
He has, but he's been playing a lot better. But this, again, he's out currently because he's sick. Like, it's not the injury. But no, I don't play Jalen. I don't play Lane. And I probably don't play Nakobe at this point. Now, if A.J. Brown can't play because of the wisdom teeth thing, then so be it. I mean, I agree with you. Like, I'm more worried about being healthy and not letting something stupid occur just because we're trying to win. I don't want to call it a meaningless game, but again, 3rd and 4th place in my eyes doesn't make a difference, because if you look at the playoff picture right now, you're playing either the Niners or the Rams, depending on how that is playing. Right now, you kind of have to look at who's playing who this next week, because the Bills, again, are playing for a lot more, in the sense they're playing a much harder team. Let's be honest, the Pats are playing the Jets. I mean, it's pretty much a W unless they really just let their guard down.
And the Bills got the Jets next week, so it sort of just washes out. So the Bills got to win both their games, basically, to finish up the season. So if they got to look at it. And then you mentioned the Buffalo Bills, who are playing for something. There is a division race in the balance. Joey Bosa was a non-participant on Wednesday, but he did participate limitedly on Thursday. Daquan Jones was not a participant. Dalton Kincaid's dinged up, DNP. All these guys are DNP. Dawson Knox, Jordan Poyer, Matt Prater, Jordan Phillips. They were all non-participants. Josh Allen himself was limited due to a foot problem. Teron Johnson, a quad. Cam Lewis, Shaq Thompson, Cole Bishop, and Ray Davis, all sort of in and out, either limited or full participants. No earth-shattering injury situation on the Bills side of the ball. It's week 17, for God's sakes. Nobody is really at 100% at this point of the season. So I don't really think injuries kind of factor into this game, Al?
No. I mean, it may factor if the foot of Josh Allen could factor a little bit of his ability to run. We all know he likes to take off and run. The Eagles defense does struggle against that running quarterbacks a little bit more. There's athletic quarterbacks get him a little bit more. I mean, that's against any defense, to be honest with you. It's harder to get a sack on a guy like him, especially bringing a guy his size down, let's be honest. But if that foot's not 100%, it's going to make things a little difficult. Hell, we saw one-handed man put up some points against us, so that always plays a factor in everything.
The one-handed man. Yes, he was. Old one hand. Okay, Al.
By the way, that's Herbert Super Bowl right there, everybody. So I hope Chargers fans enjoy that.
Listen, I do want to talk about the parity later on in the show with you about the parity this year, but give me 3 key Eagle Bills matchups that you're looking at. Give me 3 matchups in this game that you're looking at.
Well, the D line of the Eagles versus the banged up O line of the Buffalo Bills. That could be where they get to Josh Allen and they make him make a mistake. That's one of the big ones in my eyes. Our wide receivers versus their secondary. That's going to be a big conversation and mistake-free football from Jalen plays into that as well. And first half versus second half. I kind of alluded to it earlier. I mean, you have one team that's a really good first half team in the Philadelphia Eagles, but the second half is a little lackluster. And it's the other way around. So the Eagles could be up 17-0 in the half, and this game could be far from over. So we'll find out.
Yeah, my 3 key matchups here. Josh Allen versus Vic Fangio. As we said, Josh Allen is obviously going to be the focal point in any sort of scheme. I mean, they could look at Cook as well because they're pretty much the only 2 superstar weapons on this football team. But it all really boils down to what Josh Allen is going to be able to do and what Vic Fangio allows him to do and what sort of how he attacks Allen in this game. That's my number 3. Then James Cook versus the Eagles defensive line. I mean, the Eagles have been very susceptible to the run all year. And do they continue that flavor on Sunday with the weather being the way it is? Maybe it's more of a ground-centric attack for both teams and see how the defensive line does up against Cook. And then my number 1 Eagles key matchup here is what is the game plan? Are we going to run the starters? Are we going at this like it's Super Bowl 60 right now? Are we attacking like this is game 4 of the preseason? Are we sitting people? If they get a big lead, do we start seeing players come out of this game? Or if we're getting blown out, you start seeing players come out of this game. What exactly is Nick Sirianni's philosophy heading into this football game? And God forbid, if it's one of those, we're going to play it out the way we're supposed to play it out, and then somebody does go down that's important to this team. God help them on sports radio Monday morning.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, I mean, listen, injuries are one thing you can't control. Yeah. But I honestly think if you said, Al, read the mind of Nick Sirianni and Kevin Petula, which would be a short read, I honestly think it's play the game as usual. I just have if they play the Jalen Carter or Lane Johnson thing, that's a coin flip. But I think it's play the game as usual. But if this does turn into an utter blowout, either way, I think they will start pulling guys.
This is why you don't schedule NFC versus AFC on week friggin' 17. This is why this game should have been done on Monday Night Football to start this, or Thursday Night Football to start the season. That's why this game should have been week 1 or like sometime in October.
Why, though?
What's that?
Why?
Because right now in the situation that the Eagles are in, I mean, you could flip a coin on how they're going to play this game. This would have been a really good matchup earlier in the season when it meant something to both of these teams.
Sure. But I mean, let's look at yesterday's games. What a bunch of meaningless games, except for
but the way they were scheduled, you can't really fault the NFL. I mean, the way the Commanders played last year, you thought that Commanders-Cowboy game was going to mean something, and obviously the Lions-Vikings, that was a god-awful football game by both those teams, and they were both 14-2 last year. I mean, I can't fault the NFL for scheduling those games in May based off of what happened last year.
Well, then can you not fault them for putting the Eagles Bills?
Yes, I can, because it's an outer conference matchup. This game really doesn't necessarily mean much It does, but conference play versus out of conference play, it's not very high up on the tiebreaker. There's a lot of situations that could come into this game that would make it less meaningful.
Well, look, they did the opposite with the Eagles in the sense that, usually it's like the Dallas Cowboys. The last month of the game, we see them twice, or season we see them twice. They knew the Cowboys were going to cowboy it up, and they put them in the beginning of the season just to make it worthwhile. And they thought the Commanders were going to be this stroke in the Commander, and they just go.
I don't know what they do next year. I guess I guarantee it's going to go back to the Cowboys next year. That's how they're going to roll it.
Yeah, I mean the Giants aren't moving.
Yeah, they're not going, and they're not going to trust the Commanders next year at all.
I honestly think the Cowboys blow it up, but hey, we'll talk about that post.
Yeah, they might. All right, so Al, with all that being said, what are your Eagles' keys to victory? Your 3 Eagles' keys to victory.
Again, we've talked about this to nauseum, and I'll say it one more time: is mistake-free football. It's such a cliche thing to say, but it has been. When the Eagles play better, the mistakes have been lessened. I'm going to go with what you talked about earlier. It's a very important stat: the turnover game. Let Josh Allen will throw the ball into traffic, make him make a mistake. We know he can do that. Yeah. I mean, for a guy who slings the ball like him, for him to throw a turnover, it's not unheard of. So make him make a mistake and capitalize off of those mistakes. And special teams.
Got to see something from them?
All together. Like, Kobe's got to stop. And Jake Elliott's got to get his head together. I mean, a couple things.
Yeah, special teams is a definitely interesting story to keep an eye on as we move through this. My 3 keys to Eagles victory are number 3, kind of going off of yours, just play way you can play and build off of those wins against, if you can take anything from those 2 wins, continue to try to play a complete game. Waiting 16, we haven't seen the only complete game. The Raiders game was a complete game, and then maybe no. The Raiders game is the only game I can sit here and tell you that they played complete football for 60 minutes, and that's pathetic. That we're one game in against the Raiders, so they got to play a complete game. I've been saying it all year. My number 2 key to Eagles victory: don't be vanilla. Right, as you said, man, don't be vanilla. Just go. Let's have some fun. Play football. Play friggin' football. And if regardless of who's out on the field, regardless who's starting or who's playing, play football. If Tanner McKee's out there, let him air it out. Jalen's out there, let him air it out. Just let's play football. Let's not go into preseason mode with the playbook. And my number 1 key to Eagles victory is be smart and read the friggin' room. If things are getting out of hand, get the starters out of there, regardless if it's good or bad. Just get them out of there and save them for another day.
Agreed. I mean, I think honestly, that has to be Frank. What's up, buddy? Mm-hmm. Frank Finnegan. Commanders have a last place schedule last year, and they used the old vets to fill the holes, and we know how that ends up. I mean,
it didn't work out.
Who would have thought that Josh Harris would have done something like that?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Good point. All right, Al. So this is our time in the show where we take we make our game prediction. You give me a team who's going to win, a score, and your game MVP. I'm going to recap. I got Kyle's stuff here, so I can already give that. But we'll start with Al first. Al, who's winning this game? What's the score? And who's your game MVP?
This is a tough one. This is going to go down the mat in my eyes. I'm going to say the Bills win this one. Honestly, I just think they're playing for more. It's going to be more juiced up there. I think the running game's going to come into play a little bit more here, and that's going to hurt the Eagles' defense just a little bit. But I think it's going to be 27-24 Bills.
And who's your game MVP?
For both teams, or is it just
no? Just give me the one guy that shines brightest amongst them all.
Cook. Cook he'll gash maybe 2 touchdowns and 150 yards, 150 yards, maybe 175 all-purpose. They'll throw the ball occasionally to him.
Kyle's going with the Bills as well, 24-23, and he's also going with James Cook as his MVP. I'm also going with the Bills in this game, 28-21.
All right. Woo!
Yeah, I'm the Eagles are going to win. I'm going with the Bills 28-21 with Josh Allen as my game MVP because I think we're going to actually see elite quarterback play on Sunday. And it's
I
not
think
from
Frank Finnegan is agreeing with us. I think he has Bills win game close 24-21. That's what he has on his here.
Or it gets away from the Eagles early. They go into this thing with not the right intentions or the intentions of resting players, and it does get away from them early, and then they just sit everybody and it gets out of hand. Or the other way. Yeah, I really do.
That could be very demoralizing.
Yeah, no, it can be.
Yeah.
All right, Al. This is a part of the show where we do question of the week. I pride myself on giving Kyle the best that he can chew on, and this question kind of is along the lines of the rest, don't rest type thing, but it's more holistically involved with the schedule and using the last bit of the season. We can't control how the schedule's done. You can't control how these teams are going to sort of work out. But when you've had such an up and down season like the Eagles have had, and you're coming off that game against the Chargers where they looked at times, I mean, I know you might not look at this, but they were, to me, overmatched in that football game by the one-handed man. I that's what I saw.
They were overmatched by themselves, but we'll move on.
But you wrap the season up with the games between the Raiders, 2 with the Commanders, and the Bills sandwiched in. The Eagles are a good football team. There's no questioning that. The Eagles are a very good football team.
Any NFL team would ask for it, in my eyes.
But we're not looking for the Eagles to be a good football team. We're not looking for the Eagles to win their division. We're not looking for the Eagles to win the conference. We're looking for a repeat and the dawn of the Eagle dynasty.
Sure.
Does this schedule, Raiders, Commanders, Bills, Commanders, is this going to provide more false hope, more false promise, more fugazi information for the fan base than anything else heading into the playoffs? Or is this, like a lot of homers are saying, the get right period of the schedule that can only benefit the Eagles heading into the playoffs?
Well, it's only get right because you need to get right. Now, the Eagles came in this year and they were just, bulldozing teams and winning games and, 12 and 13 wins already. This last 4 games could be very misleading in that sense. But when a team struggled on certain areas of the game of offensively, getting a taste of how to run the ball correctly, and just remembering how to play mistake-free football and giving you the opportunity to work out things that you usually don't get in weeks, 12, 13, 14, and all that stuff. That is a little bit of a plus or a feather in the cap to the Eagles at the right time, at the right moment. So it all really, like I said, all depended on how this season played out. But the way it did, it's a kind of a gift that they sorely needed, because if you're going up against like the Broncos at the end of the season here, the Rams, we saw them at the right time in my eyes. Even the 49ers, you got some defenses that are playing really well. It would have been really hard for them to get right and feel right. So that's how I look at it.
Okay. Okay. Hey, I appreciate your honesty. No, I don't know how you can pull anything positive about the way the schedule has worked out for the Eagles down the stretch, with so much question about this football team.
In your defense, you couldn't pull anything positive out of Unicorns.
No, I'm not taking my normal stance here. I don't know where you can pull anything positive out of beating the Raiders 31-0, out of beating the Commanders 29-18, and then whatever happens to the Commanders in Week 18. I don't know how you can pull anything like, man, we've right the ship, but we've struggled so mightily. Even in our wins, we've struggled to play complete football. I think this is going to boomerang on the Eagles and work against them, especially the friggin' fan base, heading into the playoffs.
Listen, you're not wrong for feeling the way you feel. I'm not. That's why I'm not. If you notice, I give you a hard time, but I'm not actually arguing with the way you feel.
I know. I'm not arguing with you.
I'm not arguing with the fact that people should feel a little frustrated with this team. I also understand the game in the sense that there's going to be times when teams win and they're not going to always be pretty. And there's just more, like you said, there's only one pretty win they've had all season. Like, I'm looking at the whole season. Like, I mean, the defense even wasn't great one day and the offense was good, or the offense was not good and the defense was good. And that seemed to be more of the story, especially in the last half of the season. Good defense, lackluster offense. But if it can allow the O-line and to get better and healthy, and the run game come about, I mean, this run game, Saquon Barkley getting hot. Tank Bigsby is running really well too. Getting hot right now. that could be really beneficial to the Eagles moving forward.
It could be, and as Frank Finnegan says, if teams can't stop the run in the playoffs, they're going to get hurt and damaged and killed, and that might be a problem with the Eagles. They've struggled with that all season long. I agree. Listen, Al, again, I want the Eagles to win, and that's where everybody seems to get this thing wrong. That I'm a hater. I'm not. I want them to win. I'm having trouble because there's such an opportunity right in front of this team, such an opportunity with the parity in the league right now. The Chiefs out, Lions are out. There's some heavy hitters, perennial heavy hitters that are no longer part of this. The Eagles have it right there in front of them. And I just don't think they're in the best position they can be right now to do that. And I'm thinking an opportunity is going to pass by.
Listen, there's 100% an opportunity for this team to get passed by on the mistakes that they've made. But that's the thing about sports. You need to make mistakes, but you have to be able to learn from them and not have them at the worst time. And if you want to take any positive out of the negatives, hopefully that's what happened for this team. They've made the mistakes throughout the season. They were able to keep their head above water, stay at 10-5 currently, and go into the playoffs and listen, like looking at it right now, let's look at the playoff picture right now on the NFC side. You got the Seahawks, you got the Bears, who are two teams who don't have a lot of playoff experience right now. So that plays in the Eagles. The Niners do, but that they've kind of been out of it, but back in it. And the Rams do. Jordan Love and the Packers have a little bit of it too, but I think they just slink in at this point. I mean, outside of the Panthers, pushing them in and pushing them out or whatever it is. Not Panthers. No, I think it's pretty locked up at this point, right? Who am I missing?
There's one spot left, and that's the NFC South champion.
Yes, but the Bucs have a slight chance. So right now, it looks like it's going to be the Panthers. So, I mean, that's another team that plays well for us. I mean, I think that's what helps the Bills a little bit because if you look at the AFC side, you got the Broncos, you got the Pats, and you got the Jags, and you got the Chargers, all with very little playoff experience. So that might play in a benefit on both sides of the ball, on both sides of the NFL there.
Listen, you're right, but again, it's concerning that you come in title defense. I don't think the offseason was one that Howie's going to remember or put up on his memory wall heading into this season. And I think you might have missed an opportunity here. And that's what concerns me about this. And of course, we're going to glaze over that. But
yeah, well, the one biggest misses for Howie was Mekhi Becton in my eyes, but we're not going to get into
Mekhi Becton. We can talk about even C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I mean, why? He could be.
CJ's a bit of an anomaly. That man moves around way too much. Whose fault is it at that point?
I'm not sticking up for his character or anything like that.
I can agree with you, but if CJ was here, we might have kicked him off the team too, for all we know. And he might have gone flourish somewhere else. But like I said, you have to look at it this point of view. You have to see the experiences there. And I'm going to ask you this one last question before we go. Would you rather go into the playoffs with your team lacking on offense or lacking on defense, but stellar on the other side of the ball?
So lacking on offense,
but stellar on defense,
but stellar on defense,
offense and lacking on defense. Like, which one do you feel more like could win you a Super Bowl one way or the other?
Well, obviously defense does win you championships, just like pitching wins you a friggin' World Series. But here's the thing. Our defense has been playing. Listen, let's also give this its proper due. The defense has been keeping this season together. I mean, if they hadn't played anywhere, and they're not even playing at their best, and they've kept the season afloat, because there's a lot of these games. The Eagles could be 7-6 right now. Let's be honest. They very well could be 7-6.
I mean, the Rams game is one of the biggest ones there. I mean, that was a return. That was a kick return, or no,
a punt and two field goal kick and a kick block or something like that.
Yeah, and a return. So yeah, I mean,
no, listen, I would look. I go with the defense, but I am concerned about the defense and the amount of time they've been on that friggin' field all season long. I mean, they're worn the hell down, and that's why the reason why they need to get a little mini bye here, because they're not going to get a bye. They need to create their own bye with these guys.
The Commanders one is going to be a bye for them. They're not going to. I know I saw somebody in the chat here saying there's a few other ones up here, but somebody said that they feel like the Eagles are going to win the next two games. They may win this Sunday, but I don't think they're even trying to win next Sunday unless the Commanders are that bad. I mean, that would be the only way. Like, who is our third string quarterback at this
Sam
point?
Howell.
Sam Howell. Oh, that'd be great. Ooh, that would make
former Commander quarterback. Yeah,
yeah, that would make a great storyline. But I know Mike's sitting there saying he loves the Birds on Sunday. I don't think I can love anybody in this game, even the Bills. I mean, it's going to be a shootout. This is the type of game this is a playoff style caliber game that you want to see. But Frank's also saying lack on offense is where he would rather be, because even though this team lacks on offense, it has the ability to burst out at any time. That's why I think I feel a bit more comfortable going into this postseason. If it was the other way around, and we saw that in 2023, where the offense was really good, but the defense was really bad, and we all know how that played out.
I'm going to say that the offense was really good in 23. They were very inconsistent and sporadic too. There were some problems really offensively.
Defense. They were, especially in the beginning of
the season. They were better than the defense, 100%, but they weren't.
AJ Brown had like 1,000 yards before his 8th game or something like that. It was like something ridiculous.
They were 10-1, and then they fell apart.
Yeah, the offense kept that team, but you can't live that way. That's why the running game is going to be really important. Not just about 150 yards and 2 touchdowns for Saquon Barkley. It's about giving that defense that blow. Not going out and throwing the ball 3 or 4 times, and then boom, we're back on defense again, or throwing the ball in turning over the ball and we're back on defense again. That's where the importance is going to be. That's why I feel more comfortable saying that the Eagles could make some more noise in the playoffs than most people think, because of the defense, not so much the offense.
Here's breaking news. Homer Mike Lauro loves the Eagles on Sunday. You heard it here first. I am breaking the news, man. Homer Mike Lauro likes the Eagles on Sunday. I know.
So, it's okay, Matt. It's okay, Matt. I've been dealing with this for the last hour and 22 minutes. It's
shocking. Well, we got one more segment. We're not done yet.
I know. I'm just letting them know.
All right, so let's go to now. This is a part of the show where I like to walk you through my NFL picks from Week 16. I do this every week. I've been doing it for years.
All games.
We recap Week 16. We're going to look at my picks for Week 17. And I want to get your picks as well. So here we go. So for Week 16, I was 9-7. Not my best week of the year. 9-7 for the week. I am now 153-81 on the year, which I am very happy. That's a very good record heading into Week 17. I've been more right than wrong. Just pick'ems. I'm not doing spreads. We're doing pick'ems. We're doing old school type of football. Now the Thursday games, of course, I did pick these games, and I'm going to give you my picks here. Okay. I took Washington. I took Washington to beat Dallas, because I'll never pick Dallas for anything. Okay. I also took the Lions to beat the Vikings. I picked that game as well for the Lions, and I went with Denver over Kansas City. So I was 1 for 3 on Thursday night. But let's get to Sunday's action. First game we're going to talk about, Al, Texans versus the Chargers. I like the Chargers. Who do you like in this? This is a good game.
This is a really good game.
Oh, it's Saturday. I'm sorry, not Sunday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is tomorrow. It's at 4:30.
Yeah, Saturday.
You got 2 games tomorrow. I actually like the Texans this one. Texans are playing really good defense. Justin Herbert, he's won the last couple games.
One-handed man.
Yeah, I think this is where it kind of – and the Texans are playing for a little bit more. So I'm going Texans win this one.
The Chargers to me have been the team that they probably, they've had really decent regular seasons, and then they just fade away. Chargers have a different little attitude about them this year. I don't know. I like the Chargers in this game. Then we got the other game Saturday. Interesting, Baltimore versus Green Bay. Both these teams are playing for something. Baltimore needs to win. They need to win to keep their hopes alive in the North.
Right now, according to the NFL playoff picture, they are currently 8% chance of winning or going to the playoffs. Yeah. If they win, it just bumps up to a measly 22%. So yeah, this is they're playing for all the cards. But the Packers are playing, but they are injury ridden. I don't think are they locked in. They are definitely locked in.
No, they're still fighting. They're battling with the Bears.
Yeah. Well, they're battling with the Bears are probably locked in for.
They haven't clinched. No one's clinched the NFC North. It's still open.
The North is still open. So
yeah, both Norths are still open.
I think the Ravens are a big bunch of frauds. I think the Packers are really injured. I think this is not going to be a fun game to watch. But I think the Packers will will limp to a victory.
I like Baltimore in this game because I just don't think they're going to let Pittsburgh win the North. Give me Baltimore. And then we got Arizona and Cincinnati on Sunday. Who cares? But I'm going with the Bengals.
Yeah, I'll go with the Bengals.
I mean, what the hell? Pittsburgh and Cleveland. So Baltimore's playing a pretty interesting team in Green Bay. Pittsburgh needs to win. They're on the driver's seat right now. I don't think Cleveland derails that this week. Give me Pittsburgh.
I mean, Cleveland, didn't they just they're coming off a high, I think, against the Bills because they only lost by 3 in that one, right?
Yeah.
That was a close game. I think Shedeur Sanders is not good. He loves his tight end too much, and the Steelers will be able to have Bosa attack him. So I'm gonna go with the Steelers on this one.
Houston, New Orleans versus Tennessee, the higher pick bowl 2025, higher draft pick bowl of 2025. Give me the Saints because they're the least worst of the two.
Are they?
I would say they are. Bigger upside, even though Cam Ward has been playing better.
The least worst. I think it's the worst of the two.
No, I said the least worst. But Cam Ward has been playing better.
There's an old saying, you know, when you have two really bad teams playing, you pick the home team. So I'm gonna go with the Titans on this one.
Okay. Do the Titans go back into the draft next year and draft another quarterback, or are they going to give Cam Ward a second year?
I think they draft another quarterback. I think the news has already been out that they're over Cam Ward already. Yeah, they don't give anybody a chance in Tennessee. Nobody.
Travis Hunter was right there, man. They could have taken him. Jacksonville and Indy, very interesting game. The Miracle Jacksonville Jaguars continue their season here against Old Man Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts. Give me Jacksonville.
So the Colts, you know, after the kind of year that they are expecting to be in the playoffs no matter what, now losing Danny Dimes or Indiana Jones or whatever the heck they were calling them, they are 10% if they win chance still to make the playoffs. So they're playing for everything here. You got the Colts playing with Phillip Rivers. This is a Trevor Lawrence type. I'm going to blow it, so I'm going to give it to Phillip Rivers to win this game.
All right. Tampa, Miami. Tampa's playing. They're trying to keep pace in the South. Miami's done. Give me Tampa.
Yeah, for that reason, I go with everything you're saying except for the winner. The Dolphins will win because the Bucks are. I don't know. It's like the hapless bowl here. Who's more hapless? The Bucks need it more. The Dolphins aren't playing for anything. I give it to the Dolphins.
Then we got the Jets and the Patriots. It might as well be the Patriots versus the Clifton Height Rams.
Yay! Whoa! The Rams. Who's coaching? That's a quite nice kid. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the Jets don't want to win. They're not even trying to win. I think the Pats are second stringers are in by the second half.
Then we got Seattle and Carolina. Carolina's battling. Seattle's battling. This could be a sneaky fun game to watch.
So Seattle is sitting at 12-3. Did they win? They still have the West.
That's still open. Still open.
You got the Rams playing the Falcons. The Niners playing Chicago. This is gonna be a battle. I think the Panthers are gonna be. They're a much better team. I just think that Seahawks defense is gonna have their way. So I'm gonna go with the Seahawks.
Rams or Carolina's playing with house money. They're not supposed to be in this position. Let's go out and have some fun. You know, and that's what makes the team dangerous.
They win. They have a 56% chance of winning. And listen, let's be honest with them. The Bucks have a very good chance of losing this game.
Yeah.
Who plays first?
Interesting game.
Or are they at the same time? No, they're both at one. Okay. So this is why I have 3 TVs in my basement, because I'm going to be watching those two on one of the other ones.
Now we go on to the Giants versus the Raiders. Give me the Raiders.
I don't know. What's the more hapless bowl? This one or that one?
I don't even. Is Russ back in for the Giants? Is he their quarterback now?
That's a great question. Probably not.
Is Pickett still the starter out in LA or out Las Vegas?
Probably Kenny Pickett. Who's the Giants? Is it still
Is it Russ?
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know. Let's see.
Dart's gone for the year, right?
No. Well, yeah, that guy's he's going to injure himself right out of a career the way he's going. Let me see. I don't even. This is so hard to pick just because it's so bad. This is like picking the last game of the season. Like, jeez, I don't know. I guess it's, or is it Jameis Winston? I think it's Jameis Winston.
Okay, maybe the Giants got the upper hand there.
Yeah, I don't. I'm going to go with the Giants.
I'm going with the Raiders.
I know, and I kind of want to give the Raiders because of the home team here, I think the Raiders they're tanking at this point. What do you got?
Both of them should be tanking at this point.
Yeah, but that's a Giants kind of thing, not to tank, like not to win this game. That's kind of why I'm picking the Giants to win, not to lose.
Then we got maybe the game of the week: Chicago, San Francisco on Sunday Night Football. Very interesting game. Should be entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with San Fran in this game because I'm not a believer in Caleb Williams, but I am a believer in Johnson. But I'm not a believer.
I'm not the biggest believer. I like Ben Johnson. I think he's been I wanted him to come to the Eagles so bad. Yeah. When the questioning about Nick Sirianni being fired or something like that, I'm like, go get Ben Johnson. Could you imagine Ben Johnson with this offense? Could you imagine
50 points a game? Easy.
Oh my god. So I am picking the Niners to win this one too. I just don't believe in Caleb Williams and the Bears. So that's where I'm going.
And then our finale on Monday Night Football is the Rams and the Falcons. I don't think this is a good game at all. Give me the Rams.
Monday Night Football, man, has some of the worst games anymore. Remember, it used to be like you had to go watch. You had to watch Monday Night Football, have some of the best matchups. I hate Monday Night Football anymore. Even when the Eagles play, it's not great. It's Monday. Who's the OMG, huh?
I don't know. I don't know who's OMG. Maybe is it our pick between the Raiders and the friggin' Giants? I mean, does it really matter?
We spent so much time on thinking
maybe because we spent we spent more than 10 seconds talking about it. Yeah. So what do you think? Rams, Falcons, Monday Night Football. Rams, I think it's the Rams. Yeah. Rams. All right. Well, let's see how I do. We're wrapping up. Week 18 is a complete toss-up, but that's my week. That's our Week 17 picks. And by the way, for those of you that are interested, here you go. Here's the rest of your week on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. You'll be seeing more Big Al a little bit later on tonight as he'll be back at 9 p.m. with the Philly Friday Frenzy. Tomorrow, Mike Lauro comes for our final Happy Valley Huddle, Penn State, Clemson, Pinstripe Bowl action, and then we got a slew of stuff going on Sunday. Capstone by the Flyers Kraken postgame at about midnight on Sunday night as the Flyers are heading out west to do their annual pre-New Year's Western Canada, now Pacific Northwest trip. Mm-hmm. So there's your stuff on the It's a Wrap Sports Network for the final.
For that winter break, did they go west?
It's always been like that.
I was going to say, it's not just me. Like they do.
No, I grew up that way. That's the way it's been always. Watching Wayne Gretzky at 1 o'clock in the morning on like December 28th has always been a special treat for me as a kid. All right, Al. Thank you, Big Al, for stepping in for Kyle Quinn. We will be back on the Birds Blast. It's been confirmed. I already got Kyle to confirm. New Year's Eve at 4 p.m. is when we'll do the next one, the Week 18. Probably, I don't know what's much to talk about in that one, but we're going to do one next week. And but I want to thank Al for stepping in and tell the good folks out there, Al, where they can find you.
Well, Big Al Sports on X when I'm active is when I can be. Tonight, again, 9 p.m., I'll see you guys for the Philly Friday Frenzy, which is always a fun time. We're gonna do a little conversation about I got top 2025 gifts that are out there. I want to know what you guys got for holidays. Are you more gift givers or more receivers? And also, we're going to talk about the last 40. I figured I'm 42 years old, so I'm looking at the top presents from the last 42 years that we're selling. So we're going to look at that as well. So we'll touch on the Eagles a lot. Not much Phillies conversation to be had. Of course, the Flyers are on winter break. We're not going to touch on that too much. And we might even peek in on the Sixers. So we'll go from that.
So 1983?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Let me guess one. Can I guess one right now from 1983?
Well, it's not all of them. It's like the top 10 or 20 of the last 40 years. But keep going.
Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah, I think that's definitely on there. I got to pull up the graph.
That's got to be up there. That's got to be up there.
Let's see. I got it somewhere around here. Hold on. Yeah, I'll save it for later. You guys need to
yeah, have something. That's my guess. Cabbage Patch Kids. Well, anyway, listen, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us for the special noonday adventure of the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn, featuring Big Al Zafiri today as our special guest co-host. I will see you again on Christ. When will I be back? I'll be back on Sunday night with the final word. Al will see you later on tonight, and then they'll take you, Al and Mike, pretty much the rest of the weekend along with the Pittsburgh guys, and then I'll be back again Sunday night. So you guys enjoy your post-Christmas weekend, and let me be the first. Happy New Year to you all, and we'll see you soon.